All right, we are live on YouTube. Welcome to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli. Glad you can all join me here tonight. If you're here live, it is Saturday, March 5th, 2022. If you're joining me live, if you're here on the replay, hey, stick around. You didn't miss anything. This is going to be evergreen content. This will be good for forever. So if you're here live, you can engage in the chat and I can answer your questions as the show goes on. Also, if you're on the replay, feel free to comment below and I will respond to you as soon as possible, typically within 24 hours or so. But anyway, hope you're all having a great weekend. Yeah, if you're here live, I got to tell you, gas prices just shot through the roof today. Gas prices have now hit, at least for super unleaded, have hit over $6 a gallon here in the Bay Area. I'm also hearing in Southern California, because I'm in Northern California, they've hit over $7 a gallon. Folks, yeah, things are just getting insane. I really hope that this war between Russia and Ukraine really ends soon. It's just really hurting, but it is what it is. We're all going to keep on driving. It's just going to cost us more money. We're going to have to budget it in, and that's just the way it goes. That's just the way the ball bounces sometimes. But anyway, before we get started, let me make sure that the YouTube notification has gone out, and it absolutely has. And the back end of YouTube is rolling smoothly, so we're all set to go. I don't really have a whole lot to talk about in the monologue. I did a live stream earlier today, and if you need some more content to watch after this stream ends, go and check out my past several Walking with Purpose streams. I've been discussing some very interesting topics. Earlier today, I was discussing the secret to everything. Being thoughtful and making effort stands out. You can check that out. And then the previous day, I did people come and go from your life, and it's for the better. Learn from it. And the day before that, the topic was the right decision is unknown until after you take the risk. So take it. So folks, look, if you need more positive and uplifting content that will change your life, watch these replays. Watch these replays. You don't even have to watch them. Just put them on in the background and listen to them while you're doing other things. You will learn things that will inspire you, motivate you, and put you in a better position to accomplish everything that you want to accomplish in life, whether it be at a personal level or professional level. So check out that past content after this show if you need more content and you want to become a better version of yourself, or like I say, become the best version of yourself you can possibly be. All right, let's not hold anything back. I just got off the phone with my lady not too long ago, and she has to work early tomorrow. She does work in retail management, so she works many weekends. I'm glad I don't work retail and retail management anymore because I love having my weekends off. Typically, I have weekends off, but hey, I'm self-employed. If I want to do a stream or two on the weekends, it's not even like work to me. But yeah, so she's probably watching right now. Hello to you, babe, and enjoy the show while you're still up. Feel free to text me if you want me to mention anything on the air, and or if you have any comments, I'll be glad to discuss them as the show goes on. I have my handy dandy iPhone 12 Pro Max right alongside me here. Wow, it even says, watch live now, Coach Eli, Elias Melas. Dating advice for men and women, volume 12. Well, that's what we're doing tonight. Tonight, again, we are doing dating advice for men and women, volume 12. I have another 5 very interesting, which is what I'm trying to say, and amazing Reddit stories where I'm going to share my thoughts on that you can learn from and have better success in the dating world by not wasting your time focusing it on the wrong people and instead investing your energy on the right people. So without further ado, we're going to go over the first 2 or 3, depending on how long the first 2 take. during the first segment. Then we're going to take a break at about the 45-minute mark or 1 hour mark at the latest, and then come back with the last 2 or 3, depending how long it takes for the first 2 or so to get through. All right, so let's switch on over to the browser source and let's just get down to business. The first one is from the subreddit Seduction, and the original poster's title is, let's scroll down a little bit here, 3 weeks of seduction, girls are way more direct than I am apparently. Huh? Come again, dude? 3 weeks of seduction. Girls are way more direct than I am, apparently. Well, bro, and other guys out there, the only time that women are more direct than guys is when they really like you and you're beating around the bush to take the chance, right? So if you're hanging around with a woman, like on the first date, and things are going well, and she's giving you those glistening eyes, or she's rubbing your shoulder every now and then, or trying to get closer to you or sitting close to you if you're somewhere where you're sitting, right? And you don't make a move to try and kiss her, she's going to try to make the hint a bit more obvious, right? So the fact that you're saying girls are way more direct than you are, it's saying that you're not being as manly as you should be, right? You're behaving with more feminine energy than masculine energy. And if you don't get the hint soon and make a move, then you're going to be out of luck because she's going to realize, well, maybe you don't like women. Maybe you're not man enough to make the move to go after what you want, right? So let's read what this guy put here. He calls this a field report. All right, a field report. What is this, like a football game or something like that, or a baseball game? Ah, man. Basically, I started the whole thing 3 weeks ago. I've been on 4 dates. One girl kissed me before I made any move. Past tense, brother. Okay? Well, wow. Okay. I guess she was really attracted to you. And maybe, you were saying all the right things and you looked good and smelled good, but she was trying to give you all the clues and you weren't going in for the kiss, so she had to take the chance herself. But it is the modern world, so women are also being a little more assertive nowadays, but they also prefer it when the man makes the first move. Typically women will give you subtle hints, and they're going to wait for you to be the man to go after what you want, right? Because that's what turns them on, you being a man. One said, "Why am I acting shy?" Oh my God, dude. One said, "Why am I acting shy?" Because you haven't learned how to be as strong of a man as you can possibly be yet, man. I don't even know how old you are. You're probably in your early 20s. One girl actually said, "We pounding or what?" in the middle of the conversation. One girl actually said, "We pounding or what?" in the middle of the conversation. Now, here's the thing. If I, ever had a woman come out and just say, "We pounding or what?" Like, that to me doesn't sound romantic. It doesn't sound like there's any emotion in it. It just kind of sounds like this girl had nothing better to do that night, and she just wanted to find any guy that she could pound with. So, honestly, that type of woman, if I was single and I encountered a woman like that, yeah, no. If she said, "We pounding or what?" No. Because look, a woman that's going to come out and basically flat out say, "Are we pounding or what?" How many other guys is she saying that to? And how many other guys has she done this with, right? So think about that, right? I always thought there is a slow progress from a date to banging. Absolutely. I mean, it doesn't have to be like incredibly slow, but it all depends on if you're meeting on a dating app or dating site like most people do nowadays. It all depends on, did you properly vet each other before? Did you have a nice conversation through the app? Did you exchange numbers and text a little bit? Then did you get on the phone and talk for an hour or two before meeting? If you have all of that and then you meet and you're banging within an hour or two, okay, there's nothing wrong with that because you talked and vetted each other before you met in person. But even with vetting each other in person, okay, it's not going to be like, okay, we're meeting right now and we're going to bang right away. No, you hang out, you see if there's chemistry, you talk a little bit, and then typically the woman gives you a sign with some glistening eyes or starts rubbing your shoulders or starts getting closer to you and looks to see if you're going to be man enough to kiss her and take it to that level. That's the way it typically works. If women are too assertive and they're practically asking you or basically saying, are we going to bang or what, right? Or if some of them say, are we going to smash or what? If you get a woman that says, are we going to bang or smash? I would end the date right there because she's done this with many other guys and there's going to be nothing out of it. Like, that's a woman devaluing herself, in my opinion. So he's like, I always thought there was a slow progress from a date to banging, and I love teasing. WTF. Well, yeah, I mean, it's one thing to tease, dude. It's one thing to tease. I teased one of my exes in my younger days. She really wanted it, right? I could tell we really liked each other. And I was giving her like 45 minutes of foreplay. And she said, are you going to take me or what? I can't take it anymore. And I said, no, I got a little more work to do, right? And then she goes, at the 50-minute mark, because I went on a very long foreplay session, right? She goes, if you don't take me now, you're not going to get it at all. And I'm like, okay, it's time to get down to business, right? So there is a point where, too much teasing and foreplay is not a good thing, but too little foreplay, or rushing too fast into it is not good either. You got to just feel it out and let it happen at the right time. Edit. I'm relatively new to the whole thing. I don't think I'm at a place to provide anything of value, but here are the things that I'm doing. Well, you're providing great value. You're sharing your story, man. Have some faith in yourself. It sounds like you lack self-confidence a little bit here because you're probably young. You haven't told us how old you are, but I'm assuming you're in your early 20s or so. Let's see. I read models as it was recommended. Honestly, that's how I behave naturally, so it provided nothing of value. What do you mean you read models? Is that a book? Or do you pay attention to women that are models or, or role models? Or I don't know what you're talking about there. More specific, man. I watched one course of someone named James Marshall. I know who James Marshall is. He's a pickup artist out here on YouTube. I loved how he broke down the steps to get over approach anxiety. James has some good stuff. And quite honestly, a lot of the stuff that he teaches, I teach too. But he teaches it more for, being a pickup artist and game and one night stands and stuff like that. Okay. I teach it more along the level of properly vetting someone to see if they're a good woman to date long term. Right. But the bottom line is, game and pickup is the same regardless of what your outcome is. You just have to know what your outcome is, whether you want a relationship, which is what I primarily focus on here, or do you want something casual or friends with benefits or, whatever, right? And just be honest from the very beginning regarding what you're looking for because, there are women out there, guys, that do want casual relationships or friends with benefits. If that's what you want and you're not ready for a relationship, just be honest about it. It's not something that, I promote out here, but just be honest regarding what you're looking for. But yeah, approach anxiety, it's something you have to get over all aspects of life, whether it be dating for whatever you're looking for, something long-term or something casual or fling or whatever, or even in the business world, approach anxiety is something you have to get over because especially if you're in sales, how are you going to sell something to someone if you're afraid to approach them, right? On the actual dates, I learned conversation comes naturally. It should come naturally. If it's forced or if it's fake or if it's too pushy, it's not natural and you should avoid that like the plague. Avoid anything serious like politics, work, etc. Oh, nothing wrong talking about that stuff as long as you talk about that if you're meeting from an online dating site or app, as long as you talk about that before you meet. Because if you're not jiving, then you don't want to waste your time meeting in person, right? But yeah, once you get, together in person, you want to keep it more lighthearted, flirty, fun. You're looking to see if there's a large rush or spark of sexual attraction when you're actually in person. If, You properly vet each other through the dating app, phone call, texting, etc. If that feels right, and you've talked about all these things and you still want to meet, then, there's a good chance it's meant to go somewhere. And then in person, you just focus on letting that attraction unfold if it's there in person. Okay. I'm a huge nerd, so this is hard for me. Well, dude, it doesn't matter what type of a person you are, nerd or no nerd. You need to have social skills, and you need to get over your approach anxiety, and you need to be able to communicate with women if you want to work anything out with a woman. You should be talking about nothing like Seinfeld. No, you should be talking about whatever feels natural. If you don't talk with the woman in person, it's not going to go anywhere, right? It's one thing to show up looking cute and dressed nice and smelling nice. It's another thing, knowing how to talk to a woman that's going to supercharge her hot button triggers of wanting to be closer to you, right? So yeah, you got to know how to talk with a woman. And women want to bond with you emotionally and mentally. And if they're turned on by your looks, and, you are mentally stimulating to them and you bond with them emotionally, then boom, they'll fall into your lap just like that. Okay. Also, basically, emotional intelligence. That's important. I was just mentioning that in other words. The emotional bond. Emotional intelligence is huge to a woman, and most guys lack it. So if you're a guy that understands emotional intelligence and you're emotionally open, available, and aware, and you convey that in a cool way to the woman, it's going to bond you closer with her. And more than likely, if she's attracted to you, you're going to be having some fun that night, and hopefully at least the second and third and fourth date and onward, right? Okay. For example, I got too sexual with a girl before and I felt that she backed off a little. That's because you were being pushy and she wasn't ready. You got to wait for the woman to be ready, right? You as the guy, you sit there, you look at her, you talk with her, you try to read her body language, look at her eyes. Are they glistening? Are they locked on your eyes? Is she, touching your shoulders every now and then? If the woman, has the glistening eyes and she touches your shoulders every now and then, and she keeps touching your shoulders, that means she's giving you the signal that, dude, I want you to kiss me. Like, what are you waiting for? My body's on fire. I need to be close to you. Yeah, I feel like we're magnets, right? So at the start of the date, I toned it down. Every woman is different, bro, because attraction is different to every person. Every man and woman has a different level of attraction or reaction to everybody. It's not the same with all women. All women are not the same. I think you're thinking that because this happened in the past with one woman, it's going to happen with all women. No. The woman that backed off a little bit probably was not really that into you, or maybe she has a structured belief system and is really slow at progressing or moving forward, really cautious. And you need to learn how to vet those women out before you meet them. I've talked about that in many of my past streams and videos. So yeah, everybody is different. Attraction is different amongst everyone. Okay. Another thing that might help you understand this, I've been working on myself for about a decade now. That's quite some time. So how old are you? Are you in your 30s now, man? You said you're a nerdy type of guy, so maybe you blossomed at a later age, right? And that's okay. For some people, it happens later than others. Typically, by the time guys hit their early 20s to mid 20s, they've had enough dating experience and they've learned how to, how to deal with women as best as possible, right? And they've learned how to handle themselves on dates as best as possible and give themselves the best possible chance of something happening, right? But it sounds like to you it's happening a little bit later. So now, based on what you just said there, I've been working on myself for about a decade now. I'm assuming you're in your early 30s, maybe mid 30s, who knows, okay? It's never too late, though. The only thing that I didn't do was seduction, as other things were way more important to me. Well, you got to understand, bro, that the most important thing to making a relationship happen before anything else is there has to be a large rush or spark of sexual attraction. You should always try to find out if the woman is sexually attracted to you and you're sexually attracted to her, okay? But yes, once you figure that's there and there's an interest between the both of you, then, you learn more about each other at a mental and emotional level. And if you properly vet these women, which you're not, but, if you take the time to properly vet these women through the dating apps you meet them on, and then by having an hour or two phone conversation before meeting, you're going to have a better idea of how they are mentally and emotionally. And then when you meet them, if the physical attraction is still there in person, such as it was in the pictures, then nothing wrong, with it, getting romantic and sexual. That's what you want. That's what she wants too, right? And the women that don't want that with you are just not attracted to you. It's plain and simple, all right? I think this is how it should be, and it is helping me. And your reputation matters big time. Well, dude, I think what's going on here is that you had some experiences with women that weren't attracted to you. And you assumed that, you did something wrong, which is why they didn't give you a chance. No, that's not the case. Okay, that's why some women will come out of the blue and say, are we going to pound or what, right? Because they're physically attracted to you, right? And see, if a woman's physically attracted to you, you can almost get away with doing anything wrong, right? She's going to want you. So that just proves the point that there has to be a large rush or spark of sexual attraction in order for anything to happen, right? Okay? And if that's not happening, literally within 3 seconds of seeing each other, you're going to know if there's a large rush or spark of sexual attraction. And if there's nothing happening within that hour or two after meeting them, like a kiss or holding hands or, putting your arm around each other, then it's just not meant to be. And there's nothing either one of you can do to change that. It just wasn't meant to be. It's either there or it isn't. All right, let's go down to the comments section and let's see what was written in the comments. The first comment says, well, did you pound or what? Well, like I said, when he mentioned that about that one date, I wouldn't pound a woman that says that. I wouldn't have sex with a woman that says, so are we going to pound or what? Like, that wouldn't turn me on, because that's telling me that she's probably saying that to a ton of guys, and she's probably pounded a ton of guys. And I don't want to be with a woman that's pounded a ton of guys. Or at least I don't want to know about it, right? Okay? Original poster response, asking the real questions. Yup. So he pounded her. Well, she's probably cute. He's probably a good looking guy. They have needs. Probably had a night of fun, and that's all it was. This guy fucks. No, he pounds. Come on, guys. Pounds, bangs, or smashes. So confused. That's what women say nowadays. Women make videos on TikTok and YouTube saying, you want to smash? They go up to guys and saying, you want to smash? And some guys don't even know what that means. Well, what's smashing? I know what it means, but it's just not a big turn on. If you're on a first date, you meet a woman and she says, so what are you waiting for? Are we going to smash? Are we going to pound? Like, that wouldn't turn me on. If she wants to be with me in that way, she can give me the subtle hints, look me in the eyes, rub my shoulders, do the natural, normal things that most normal, sweet, down-to-earth women do. Women that come out and say you want to smash, bang, or pound, like, they're doing this all the time. And it's just not a woman that I'd want to be with, right? And it's not a woman that can't be trusted. Give me a second here. Boop, boop, boo, doo, boo, doo, boo. All right. Let me see here. Haha, I love Reddit's comment section. This dude goes to Pound Town. Okay, let's read some real comments here. Haha, I think this is very normal. Like you said, you only started 3 weeks ago. Those are amazing results, by the way. He's probably a good-looking guy, but he's been nerdy. He's been kind of socially awkward. And, he's trying to get, over his fear of social anxiety and stuff like that. So this is a great way to do it. Good for you, guy. So with time, you'll just get used to figuring out how forward each girl wants you to be. But usually, especially if you live in the city, girls prefer guys who are forward and bold. Right, right. And that's exactly what I was saying. It's masculine energy for the guy to take the lead and to make the first move. But you got to wait until the woman is ready. And most women will not come out and say, you want to pound, you want to bang, right? No, they'll look at you with glistening eyes. They will rub your shoulders. They will sit next to you. They will say nice things to you, really nice things to you. And if you don't get the hint, they're going to continue trying to say nice things to give you the hint, or continue to get closer and rub your shoulders a little more vigorously until you get the hint that, hey, dude, I'm into you. When are you going to make your move and kiss me, right? So yeah, women want you to make the move. But I think what this guy is doing is, I think these women maybe try to give him the hint, but because he didn't get the hint because he's new at this, the woman said, so we going to pound or what? She got irritated because she couldn't take it anymore. She wanted it. She wanted his salami, the hot beef injection, right? But bro, if they're making moves on you like that, I don't think you need many tips. Haha, just keep the hustle going. Well, this guy's probably really good looking and dresses well. There's some aura about him that women are attracted to physically, right? But I think he wants more than that. I think he wants something more substantial. And if that's the case, women that are that forward on the first date and say they want to pound, it's not attractive. Even though there's nothing wrong with it happening on a first date, women should approach it in a more subtle way and let the guy get the hint and make the move. That's the way it should be. If the woman makes the first move, then, it's like her being the man. And if she makes the first move, she's probably done it with many other guys, and who knows how many guys she's been with, right? You should prefer to be with a woman that's a little more subtle and wanting to be intimate with you, not because she does that with every guy she meets, but because she perceives you to be a special guy, that there's something here that she wants to explore. That's the way you want to look at it, okay? Just keep the hustle going. Come on, guys. This is not a game, okay? Not a game. The original poster response, after the first one, I was freaking out. Like, what the hell was I doing in all these years? I feel stupid now, really unexpected. Well, dude, you were selling yourself short, right? You grew some balls a little bit, and you're like, wow, like if I just put myself out there and talk with women and dress nice and smell nice and talk with them and maybe just, hang out with them, they might like me, right? And the thing about this guy that I think he has an advantage is he's not pushy, right? And when you're not pushy, like this guy is not pushy because he's shy, right? So him being shy is coming off to women like he's not a pushy guy. He's a really, really, laid back and relaxed guy, to the point of where it allows the women to feel comfortable and safe with him, to the point of where they want to jump his bones. So yeah, if he learns that, he can do that while having confidence and knowing what's happening, this guy's going to find a good woman. A lot of women are going to want him. He's going to have his choice of the litter of which one he wants to decide to end up being with. So he's going to learn. He's getting there. But yeah, if it took him 10 years to get here and he just wasn't talking to women for 10 years, wow. You're making up for lost time, huh, brother? Can you talk about which girls did you approach and where? What exactly did you do different? With due respect, you sure are very attractive to get those results. I don't think this is valid for most of men. I would have to agree with that. This guy is probably really good looking and doesn't know it. The original poster response, it says, relatively, but I'm balding and a little overweight. Well, that's some honesty. If he's balding and he's a little overweight, see, there are women out there that don't have a problem if you're 10, 20, or 30 pounds overweight. So he's a little bit, maybe a little pudgy, a little balding, but it's how he carries himself. It's how he comes off. It's how, relaxed he's coming off. Even though it's because he's shy, he's coming off as relaxed and not pushy and not needy, right? And it's giving women the feeling like he's patient. which he probably really isn't patient, but because he's shy and all that and doesn't have a lot of experience, he's coming off in a way that's attractive to women without even realizing it. When he figures it out, this guy's going to be dangerous. I'm joking, but you know what I mean, right? Dating below your own looks can achieve similar. If a guy downplays their own looks heavily, in my opinion, then maybe undervaluing their opinions and inclines them to go for more humble-looking partners. Incidentally, it is not bad, just another strategy. Yeah, I've always said that like attracts like, and you shouldn't date, you shouldn't, in my opinion, you shouldn't try to date women that are above your physical attractive level. Like I consider myself to be like a 7.5 or so. Okay, right around there. But my woman says I'm a 10. And quite honestly, my woman and I are pretty much both at the same level of attraction. I'm not going to come out and say my woman's only a 7.5, because that's not the case. And I don't want to rate her on that. What I am saying is that her and I are both two nice-looking people at the same level. But what's more important is the fact that we're both 10s when it comes to our heads and hearts and our personality and what we want, right? And so to me, she's a 10 to me, and I'm a 10 to her. At least that's, what she says. And if she's watching, maybe she'll send me a text if she hasn't fallen asleep yet. But yeah, I always say, try to stay within your means. Sometimes, you may end up as a guy dating a woman that's a point or two below your level of attraction. And, sometimes you may think that you're not attracted to a woman that's a little less attractive than, your number on the attraction scale. But then you talk with her and get to know her, and she makes up for it with her great personality. And then she becomes more beautiful to you physically over time. That's a possibility. But yeah, it's up to each and every one of you to decide, who you want to go after and who you don't. Interesting. Would you mind explaining more on that? Meh. Balding and weight only makes things work if you were ugly from before. That's not true. It's more about your confidence and how you carry yourself. I mean, this guy must have some kind of swagger without even realizing it. He's being cool, calm, and collective because he's shy and doesn't realize it. That's what I think is happening. Original poster says, "You mean worse, dude? I'm not that good looking." Well, okay. Then if that's the case, and you own it and you accept it, then you're making up for it with your aura or something. There's something this guy's doing with his personality, his swagger, that women are attracted to. What score do you give to yourself? Obviously, you're wrong. Yes, worse was the word. Whoa, that's very cool then. What the F do you do? Please help us losers out here. Follow rules 1 and 2. Original poster says, see the edit. Well, did he mention what number he is? Let's see. This guy says, I agree. The bold ones are more enthusiastic in bed, confident, and they don't really play games. Honestly, the sexually bold women, unless they are cheating, are a lot more honest and a lot less into playing mind games. That is true. The ones that are coming and saying, are we going to smash? Are we going to bang or what, right? I get that. But what you're not seeing here is that they probably do this with a lot of guys. And do you want to be with a woman that's been with a lot of guys, especially if this guy's looking for something more long term? Let's see. Congrats, bro. After working on yourself for 10 years, girls should be super attracted to you. Now you need to train your seduction skills to not just be a boring, attractive dude and get even hotter girls. It should be more about finding the woman that, he resonates with and she resonates with him, and they build something sustainable. I think that's what this guy really wants. I wasn't expecting this amount of CMS just about this. You mean comments or something like that? I don't know what that CMS is. Some fancy millennial Reddit lingo or something like that. All right. Enough of this one here. I think we all get the point. He said, see the edit. You know, yeah. He said he's a nerd and stuff like that. I really think this guy is actually in pretty decent shape. When he says he's balding a little bit, he's a little overweight. He may be like 10 or 20 pounds overweight, but he probably carries it really well, right? And he's just so smooth without even realizing it. He's just so relaxed and laid back and not pushy. It's attracting women. He's attracting women just being himself, and he's not even realizing that. And when he builds more confidence and really understands how he's coming off, like this guy is gonna, find a good woman and settle down, have a family. This guy's gonna have no problems. He'll figure it out. So excellent first story there. All right, we are at 36 minutes. Let's get to the next one here. Let's get to the next one. This is from the Purple Pill Debate subreddit. And the original poster's title is, a large percentage of women are undeniably drawn to assholes and men who exhibit toxic, abusive behavior, but lie and say they just want a guy who will treat them right. One more time. A large percentage of women are undeniably drawn to assholes and men who exhibit toxic, abusive behavior, but lie and say they just want a guy who will treat them right. I don't think they're lying. What you guys are not understanding is that these women do not want a guy that's toxic or abusive and stuff like that. But the good guys they're encountering are just really nice guys that don't have a spine, and they behave more feminized with more feminine energy than masculine energy. They put these women on a pedestal. They kiss their ass. They're very compliant. They don't challenge the woman. They never disagree with the woman. Even if they actually disagree, they pretend to agree just to make her happy. And those are not attractive qualities to a woman. So a lot of these women will end up, dating guys that have this confidence that just end up being toxic and abusive and stuff like that, right? What women really want is they want a guy who will treat them right, but also a guy that stands up for himself, doesn't always agree with her, and is loving, but loving in a dominant and playful way, right? Women, the best way to describe it is this: women want a guy who's dominant in a loving and playful way. Like with my lady, I disagree with her on something every day, not because I want to, because sometimes she just challenges me on purpose without even realizing it, right? And I call her out. I just say, baby, that's BS. Baby, that's BS. And then she, tries to come at me again. I'm like, baby, if you want to keep coming at me, that's all good, right? That's all good, baby. Or we can just talk about, planning our next date and planning where we're going to go and how we're going to snuggle up. And then she's like, oh, God, you're good. It's like, no, I'm not good, baby. I'm just being me, Like that's what women are attracted to. It's not about me being a jerk. It's about me just being normal, me not, pretending to agree with her on everything she says and does, even though I don't, just as a way that I would feel would keep her interested. No, just be yourself, guys. Let's read what this person wrote. It's a CMV, which stands for Change My View. A large percentage of women are I already read that. Let's read the actual paragraph here. That was the title. This is an extension of my previous post. Women are, by nature, attracted to masculine dominant traits. That is true. I was just saying that in different words. regarding the statement I made about the title. Just as men are attracted to feminine, submissive traits. Amen. I've been saying that for a long time now. Absolutely. It has been hardwired into our DNA over millions of years of evolution. So it follows that naturally many of them end up on the extreme end of the spectrum and consistently select toxic men who mistreat them. Well, that happens because these men that so happen to be toxic and mistreat them are guys that are exuding masculine traits. They're guys that don't suck up to the woman or women. They don't kiss women's asses. They don't put women on a pedestal. They're men, and these guys don't put up with any crap, right? That's what's attractive to women, right? But see, women want a guy like this that's also going to be, a good man that's going to treat them right. Women are not happy that a lot of these men end up being toxic and abusive and mistreat them, right? But they're initially attracted to them because these guys are men. These guys are behaving like men. They're exuding masculine energy, which is what women are turned on by. The other guys that, are not getting the time of day are exuding more feminine energy. They're being too nice. They're overly compliant. They agree with women just to agree, thinking that that's going to make them happy, even when they don't agree, right? And that's why, women get turned off by that and go with these other guys that are toxic and mistreat them, because at least these guys have a spine and stand up for themselves. That's attractive to women. They make no attempt to conceal this behavior and frequently take to social media to complain about how all men are assholes, how there are no good men left, how they just want a guy who will treat them right, how low the bar has been set, how all they want is a man to perform chivalrous gestures like buying them flowers, sending good morning texts, and holding the car door, etc. They do want that. So this is what you guys are not getting, right? Women do want that. They do want the nice guy. They do want the chivalrous gestures. They do want flowers occasionally. They do want good morning texts and holding the car door open and all that crap. Dinner, movies, bowling, weekend getaways, etc., right? But they want that from a guy that they can respect. A man that is not going to suck up to them, is not going to kiss their ass, is not going to put them on a pedestal, and is not going to agree with all the BS that women challenge you on. That's a test to see if you're going to call them out or not, right? You see, if the woman respects you because you don't put up with her BS and you call her out in a dominant yet loving and playful way, she will respect you, and then you can do all those nice things for her, right? As long as you have self-respect and you don't kiss her ass and treat her any different than you would treat anyone else, like a friend or a family member. You got to treat women the same, right? Women don't like it when you kiss their ass or do things that they think or do things that you think they want you to do. They want you to be yourself. Just be yourself. Okay? How they are just going to kiss themselves on New Year's, just going to remain single for life, or be a spinster cat lady, etc. This appears to be in stark contrast with the red flag memes women post, boasting about their terrible taste in men and how they see toxic signals and jump in with both feet. However, the hopeless romantic theme is the overwhelming sentiment in their posting content. A week later, you see a pic on your timeline of them booted up with the same toxic dirtbag they were finally done with for the 500th time a prior week. These are just women that are angry and bitter and jaded because they keep on going after the top tier guys. And the top tier guys, the 9s and 10s, are typically Chads and Tyrones that know they're attractive and know they can get any woman they want. and they just use these women for sex. So these women just become angry and bitter and jaded. Instead of giving a 7 or an 8 on the attraction scale, the time of day that would treat them right and have a great relationship with them, right? Right? Listen, all these women that are complaining, they've got a lot more options than they're saying. They just don't want to settle for anything less than a Chad or Tyrone looking type of guy, but they want to turn the Chad and Tyrone into a house husband or something like that. And that's not going to happen. And they just don't get that. And once they've been with a Chad and Tyrone, it's really hard to even enjoy being with somebody that's a 7 or an 8, even if they're decent looking, because the Chads and Tyrones are going to bang them unlike any other guys. They get used to that. Yeah, that's what happens. Well, what does this tell the vast majority of men who are not abusive assholes? Well, before you tell me, they do want those romantic gestures. They just want it from Chad or 0.02% of men, or that they just like guys that are hot regardless of how abusive they are. If this were the case, I wouldn't be making the post. It's not that they want it from Chads and Tyrones. Yes, they do want to be with a guy they're attracted to. I'm like a 7.5 or so on the attraction scale. I'm not a Chad or Tyrone, but I'm an above average looking guy. And I've never had a problem meeting attractive women and, respecting them, and they respect me. And then I would do all the nice things for them because they earned it, right? Once a woman earns it, it's okay to do all these nice romantic gestures, right? But yes, there are some women, like I was saying, that just want to date the Chads and Tyrones, or guys that look like Chads and Tyrones. And those guys, like I said, they're in such great demand that, they're just out there to sleep with as many women as possible, right? And these women are just not ready to stop Chad chasing to get what they want by just lowering their standards just a little bit to a guy that's a 7 or an 8, right? A guy that's a little above average like me, that would treat them right. That's what's happening. That would make perfect sense, and there would be no confusion. Men date sexy, brain dead, toxic dingbats too. It happens, Every one of us has dated women that we shouldn't have, and every woman has dated men that they shouldn't, right? Live and learn. But that's not the case. I rarely see well-matched couples. 9 out of 10 times, these toxic men appear to have no redeeming qualities other than apathy and arrogance that are conflated with confidence and dominance. Well, that turns on women. Confidence turns on women, and if the guy's really attractive and confident, right? Women have needs too. Sometimes women will just see a Chad and want to have sex for the night, even if she's a nice woman, right? And then they get hooked on it and they try to lock him down. And that's not going to happen, right? And then it's hard for them to lower their standards once they've experienced the Chad. That's what's happening, right? They get used to it. They get hooked on it, right? And it's not realistic, but they get hooked on it and they expect it. So they keep chasing it, and then they end up being single for a very long time, right? And finally, when they realize that they're not going to get the Chad, then they settle for a beta male that is a provider. They get married, have a family, and then 5-10 years down the road, they end up divorcing the guy because they were never really in love with the guy in the first place. They just settled for the guy they could have a family with because the Chads wouldn't do it. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. They are usually very rough looking, many of them downright homely. They look like the guy you bought weed from in that shady apartment who didn't make eye contact with you, has a beard he hasn't washed in months, or the 300-pound redneck who posts racist memes and has a landscaping business. Yeah, but see, what's attractive to women about those guys is their confidence, right? And before women can see that these guys are arrogant, they see them as confident, right? So that's what it is, right? And they have more respect for these guys than, other guys that are really, really nice guys and put women on a pedestal and suck up to women, kiss their ass, etc. Just stop doing that, guys. Stop putting women on a pedestal. Just be yourself. Have a little confidence. Take a chance, right? And you'll see. You'll see. It'll change your life. What is even more bizarre than this phenomenon is that more people aren't talking about it, and the ones who do are immediately shunned for questioning it. Many people are talking about this. I've been talking about this for years. Many other creators are talking about it on YouTube as well, all over Reddit. Dude, I don't know where you've been, but many people are talking about this, and the radical feminist women are the only ones questioning it. Because it's the truth, right? It's the truth, right? It's the bottom line. The entire nice guy narrative was invented as a knee-jerk deflection and has since evolved into a full-blown meme culture of a psychological deconstruction that doesn't exist in most cases. Dude, you're kind of like really nerdy and stuff, man. Like you're really like overly analyzing this beyond what needs to be said, bro. You're overthinking this, dude. And look, if you're a guy that's overthinking this much, you're acting like a woman. This is feminine energy. Women overthink things. Men are direct and decisive. That's the difference between men and women and our biology and our emotions. You're overthinking this, dude. Yes, there is no shortage of, I can't even talk. Yes, there is no shortage of spineless betas who feign kindness to get laid. Dude, you're a beta too. You're sitting here saying there's no shortage of spineless betas, but the way you're writing this here, dude, you're beta too. You don't get it. You can't sit there and talk about spineless betas when you are one. Who feign kindness to get laid. Well, those guys that are getting laid are not betas. They got better game than you do. They know how to attract and get women. Okay? And then, they want just the one night, so they kick the woman on the curb. And that's what makes the woman upset, right? These are not betas. They're just players. They're players, or some of them can be, abusers, etc., right? But they're definitely not betas, dude. If they were betas, they wouldn't be getting anything. But much like the horrifically misused incel, it does not fit the subject in question 99% of the time. Maybe you're an incel, dude. It sounds like you are. Because you wouldn't be mentioning it unless you were one, dude. Like, it sounds like you're projecting. I don't know. This dude sounds like he's projecting to me. He's unhappy because of his own results. Women defend their privilege like they say old white men do. The irony and double standards are truly limitless in feminism. I will agree with you on that to a certain extent. There are women out there that are like this. But there are also women out there that aren't like this. And you just have to do a better job of properly vetting women that you meet, if it's in the online dating world, talking with them through a few messages, exchanging numbers, few text messages on your phones, and then having an hour or two phone conversations before meeting, right? If that goes well, you meet in person in the evening, and you meet, at a mall parking lot, or you meet at a supermarket parking lot, walk around or sit in your car and talk and see if the chemistry's there. Or go for a walk or a hike or do something that doesn't involve money to see if they really like you for who you are and see if the physical chemistry's there. That's all you have to do, man. That's it. That's it. Bottom line. All right. We are at 53 minutes. This was quite long. Let's read a few comments here, then I'm going to take a break and go over the last three after the break. I think a tricky thing in relationships is that to some extent we want to feel that our partner wants to be entitled to us, and we also want to feel like we have some entitlements. However, if you are too entitled, it becomes abusive, and if you aren't entitled at all, it's like, do you even care? I think most women would interpret the over-entitlement as caring and would easily prefer. No, relationships have nothing to do with entitlement. No one's entitled to anything. It's about attraction. Attraction is a must and not a choice. It's either there or it isn't. You're looking at this the wrong way, and you're probably in your 20s and inexperienced. So I get why you're saying that, but this is totally wrong here. I've noticed a lot of nice guys that have issues with women really care about their girlfriends, but their behavior can easily be interpreted as indifference, so their girlfriends leave them. No, it's a lack of confidence. Okay? They're insecure, they're immature, they're playing video games instead of hanging out with their lady, right? It's the way they show up, and it's the way that the modern world has conformed these men to be, because of the way women are nowadays, being liberated and modern day feminism. So, I mean, women are not just going to leave you if they're in love with you and they love who you are. When a woman's in love, she's not going anywhere. When she falls out of love for whatever reason, then she's going to eventually leave. Women fall out of love slowly over time. And they give you many, many hints to try to turn things around before they do, because they're emotionally attached and they really don't want to break up with you. But if you don't get the hint by a certain point, then it's over. When you say entitled, what do you mean? Do you mean entitled as in possessive, in the sense that they claim you as theirs, or in the sense that they act sexually entitled towards you? Yet, see, I will agree with what this person responded. Like, it has nothing to do with entitlement here. There is no entitlement in a relationship. No one's entitled to shit. It's either there or it isn't. Entitled to my time, my affection, my attention. No one's entitled to that. They earn that or they don't. I think it should go both ways. When you are involved with someone, ideally you feel not only a sense of obligation towards that person, but a sense of entitlement. No, there's no obligation and there's no entitlement. You guys are looking at this wrong, right? It's about attraction. It's either there or it isn't. If the attraction is there and stays there, she won't leave you, you won't leave her. If one side starts to lose attraction for the other, it's going to eventually end unless it turns around. Unless the person that, is causing the loss of attraction for the other side turns things around, it's going to end. That's all it boils down to. You guys are way overthinking this, way overthinking it. I get the word entitled is often used as a bad or negative term, but it really shouldn't be. It is natural and normal to feel entitled to certain things in a relationship. No, it's not. It's not natural and it's not normal. You aren't entitled to anything. You're not. The man is not entitled to anything from the woman, and the woman's not entitled to anything from the man. There's no entitlement there. Okay? You guys are millennials and post-millennials living in one of the most entitled generations in our history, and that's what's screwing you up and confusing you. That's the bottom line. That is the bottom line. The problem is when you do things by force or demand them cruelly. Somebody that feels entitled to things is basically going to force someone to give them the things they feel they're entitled to. And if not, they're going to leave. So you can't sit here and say that entitlement's a good thing. It's not. It is not a good thing. Let me read one more here before I take my first break. Yeah, that sounds about right. We're talking men acting entitled towards their so, right? Because I agree with you, because at least in my experience, women like guys to be assertive and take them, so to speak, or do they want them? Granted, this is excluding cruelty and force, as you mentioned. Women just want a man to be cool, calm, and collective and be a risk taker and, have a spine and stand up for himself and not say things that he feels will make the woman happy. He says things regarding how he feels, right? Now, there's nothing wrong with doing nice things for your woman if she's earned them, right? And deserves them, right? But, if you're having a conversation with your lady and you agree with something she says when you really don't, just to, as a way to appease her, she's going to pick up on that. It's going to turn her off. She's going to lose respect for you and eventually fall out of love with you and leave you, right? You got to have a conversation with your lady and treat her the same way you treat your best guy friend, right? Or the way you talk with your family, all right? You don't sit there and pretend to agree with her thinking that that's going to keep her happy. It's not. The complete opposite's going to happen. Let's see here. To extend on the cruelly enforced thing, I think a lot of guys confuse that for assertiveness. Yeah. Yeah, well, they do. Some do. But a lot of women, see that as a guy that is a real man, right? Because these guys that are cruel and force things, they don't approach these women in that way initially. Initially, these guys have the confidence to do the right thing to get the woman. It isn't until after the woman gets hooked on the guys, then the cruel things happen and the forceful things happen, right? Because if these guys were forcing women and being cruel to them, right from the very beginning, these women would never get with them. It's only after these women get with these guys where they flip it, because they know the women are really into these guys, and these guys then think, okay, I can do whatever I want from this woman. I'm in control. That's what happens. The ideal is assertion while still respecting boundaries, but that takes a lot of social awareness, and a lot of men lack that. I'm going to give you a big round of applause for that final line. I completely agree. Let's read that one more time. The ideal is assertion while still respecting boundaries, but that takes a lot of social awareness, and a lot of men lack that. I could not have said it better myself. Okay? Yes, be assertive, but also be reasonable. Respect boundaries, right? Respect her boundaries, because you're going to want her to respect yours. But here's the thing. Once you start respecting each other's boundaries, once you start respecting each other's boundaries and you've been together for a little while, then there really aren't any boundaries. You don't have to worry about it, because you're just happy to be together, and you two will both find a solution to every problem. And there won't be any problems, because you're so happy together and you're so relaxed together, right? And it feels so natural that you will work together to find the right solution. That's the way it goes. All right. Let's go back to full screen. Coach Eli, Elias Melas, hello there. Information Man Show is in the house. How are you doing, brother? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. I'm about to take a break here, and I've got 3 more Reddit postings when I get back. It's all good. It's all good. Let's cue up that royalty-free YouTube music. Do 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 do. Let's see here. Do 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 do. Where am I? Where is that song? There we go. Just need a few more here. Let's see. Do, 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 do. My lady likes it when I go do, 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 do. For some reason. I don't know. Well, thank you, says Information Man Show. You're welcome, brother. How are things going for you, man? How are things going for you in your neck of the woods? You've been covering a lot of the Russia and Ukraine thing, huh? Pretty sad what's happening over there, man. I hope it gets taken care of soon. Gas prices are just going through the roof, man. Going through the roof. All right. Let's see here. Let me see here. Boo-doop, boop, boo-doop, boop, boop, boo-doop, boo. Just need one more, Eli. Information Man Show says yes. All right, folks. Music is all queued up. I'm going to step away for a quick break. About maybe, 9 to 10 minutes long. It's crazy, says Information Man Show. When we return, we have 3 more Reddit postings to go over. I'll give you a little preview of them. The first one's going to be from the subreddit dating_advice, and the original poster's title is, "Guys, Please stop voluntarily friend-zoning yourselves. One more time, guys, please stop voluntarily friend-zoning yourselves. God. Been trying to get through to that, or been trying to get through to guys regarding that, which is what I'm trying to say for quite some time. After that, we're going to stick to the subreddit dating_advice. And the original poster's title of this posting is Date Went on a Fat Shame Rant. Need help with responding. This is a woman saying that her date went on a fat shame rant. Need help with responding. Okay. And then last but not least, to wrap up the show, we're going to go over to the subreddit Dating Over 30. And the original poster's title of the posting there is there any point for me to date if sex is expected so early on? One more time. Is there any point for me to date if sex is expected so early on? Well, I'm going to keep my mouth shut because it's a good one to end the show. Let's just leave it at that. So, for now, stick around. Round. We'll be right up, energy up. We're back. Welcome to the Show Party Channel and Information Man Show. Thank you for being here. It is Saturday night, the day we're doing this live. Yeah, I feel great. I feel fantastic. How do you all feel? Yeah, boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, yeah. Yes. Yes. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the song is called Seventh Floor Tango by Silent Partner, another group I like from the YouTube audio library, safe and free of copyright strikes and claims. You gotta do what you gotta do, right? All right, let's get back down to business. All right. Welcome back to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli, live here on YouTube. Glad you could all join me tonight. We are doing another round of dating advice for men and women. This is volume 12. During the first part of the show, we went over a couple of great Reddit postings. We have 3 more to go. Stick around. You're going to learn a thing or 2 or 3 about how to better approach today's modern dating world. But before we get to that, just want to remind you all one more time that this channel is primarily funded through donations. It's supported through donations and crowdfunding. And if you feel in your heart and soul and you feel you're getting great value here, you can make a donation in any amount by going down below in the chat and hitting that $sign. That will enable the super chat or super sticker. You can send a super chat in any amount up to $500, and the greater the amount, the longer your message will stay highlighted at the top of the chat. You can also send a super sticker if you'd rather not send a message. I prefer messages because they're a little more personable, but that's totally up to you. You can also donate via Cash App or PayPal. Nightbot is sharing those links every 7 minutes or so, and the links to my Cash App and PayPal are also below in the description for those of you that are here on the replay. Donations are greatly appreciated, but they are not required. And you know what? Even if you want to be just a blood-sucking leech or you can't afford it, that's okay. I'm here to help as many people as possible, turn their lives around and accomplish whatever it is that your heart's desire at a personal and professional level. All right, let's get back to the show here. Let's get to the next story here. Ooh, let me get all situated because I've got so many windows open while I'm running this. All right, there we go. But let's get to the right posting there. All right, this is from the subreddit dating_advice, and the original poster's title is, Guys, please stop voluntarily friend-zoning yourselves. Oh my God. Guys, please stop voluntarily friend-zoning yourselves. Why would you guys do that? You guys really don't want to be just friends with these ladies. You want to get to the promised land. But you're thinking that, okay, if you become friends with them first, and you're nice and friendly with them, right, and you're very compliant, you think that that's going to turn the woman on. She's going to end up thinking, wow, he's such a great guy. He's so patient. He's so sweet and just such a nice guy that I'm just going to spread my legs for him, right? That's not the way it works, guys. That does not create attraction. And if you look below, sorry, this post has been removed by the moderators of r/dating advice. But Eli always has a backup. So let's go ahead and switch to the screenshot backup. Whoops. What's going on here? Oh, there we go. There it is. Let's read what he wrote. I don't even know why this was removed. Sometimes things get removed for the most ridiculous reasons. But anyway, way too often do I see men attracted to a girl. The energy isn't reciprocated, and they settle for being friends in hopes of one day having an opportunity with her. Well, the reason why it's not reciprocated is because the woman is not feeling a large rush or spark of sexual attraction. She's not feeling a romantic interest. She's not physically attracted to you. Or maybe she's not attracted to your personality type or a combination of both. So there's nothing you can do to change a woman's mind regarding that. On the flip side, the same thing goes for men. There are men that aren't attracted to certain women, and there's nothing the woman can do to turn that around. Okay? It is what it is. Attraction is a must and not a choice. Okay? Gentlemen, stop doing this with three hands, three orange hands, like red or orange flags, right? In reality, you don't want to be her friend. That's true. You're lying to her and you're lying to yourself. It's not even about lying to her. It's about lying to yourself. It's about being pathetic and weak and needy and conforming to friendship as your chance of possibly getting the promised land, which is never going to happen because she's just not attracted to you from the very beginning. It's never going to be there, no matter what you do, right? It is disingenuous and you look desperate, I agree, which will only further your place into the friend zone. Well, it's not going to change anything. I wouldn't say it would further, put you in the friend zone. You're either going to be in the friend zone or not, right? Coach Corey Wayne used to say that's the best way to further cement yourself into the friend zone, right? Attraction is a must and not a choice. It's either going to be there from the very beginning or it'll never be there. If it's not there, you say, okay, I'm not interested in being just friends. I'm only looking for something romantic. If you don't feel the same way, hey, I'm going to let you go, find someone you're more attracted to. But hey, give me a call if you change your mind, right? That's all you can do. Turn, walk away, never look back. Never call her, never text her, never email her. Forget she exists, right? And who knows, because you handle it that way, when most other guys in your same position wouldn't, that might get her to see, oh, wow, this guy's a spy. Wow. She might reach out to you down the road. And if she does, then, set up a date and make it a simple date. Okay? Don't take her to dinner. Don't take her anywhere that costs money. Go on a nice walk, hike, go to the park and sit at the bench or walk around or meet her in the evening, at a supermarket parking lot or mall parking lot and sit in your car or walk around and see how it feels, right? And see if that attraction is there. That's all you can do. You're creating an environment where she gains all of the benefits of having a boyfriend, yet you do not get the relationship you desire. Well, you don't get the promised land. If you're not getting the promised land down below, there's nothing, right? A woman that's into you is going to want your promised land, and she's going to give you hers. It's plain and simple. She gets your time, attention, validation, right? Energy, etc. And you get nothing. Nothing. I learned that in my 20s. By the time I got to my 30s, I knew how to quickly gauge if a woman was attracted to me physically or not. And if she wasn't, that's it. You move on. Bottom line. Guys need to stop castrating themselves. That's a great word. And hold themselves in higher regard. Yeah, have some self-respect, self-love, self-dignity, and pride. Come on, guys. If you like her and she doesn't like you, move on. Right. You're volunteering yourself to be used as an ego booster for her. It's all about validation-seeking behavior to the woman. Most women have a friend zone with guys that's like 10 or 20 deep or even more. You don't want to be on that friend zone list. You never accept friendship with a woman that you have a romantic interest in. Now, if you have no romantic interest in her and you genuinely want to be friends, that's not a problem. But most guys, are using friendship as a way of trying to get more from the woman. That's never going to happen. Ever, 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 ever. While your ego takes a hit for every scenario you have to hear about her with other men. Stop doing this to yourselves. Why was that removed? I don't get why that was removed. That's a pretty good posting there. Very good posting. All right. Let's, open the original section here on the browser, and the comments are still below. Let's see what people wrote in the comment section. 282 comments. Wow. Wow. Okay. You don't pretend to be someone's friend just in the hopes of becoming exclusive in the future. Don't try and be a nice guy. Be a good guy, but not an overly nice guy. A good guy has self-respect, self-love, and is not going to put a woman on a pedestal, is not going to kiss her ass or suck up to her, but will be good to her in the same ways that she's good to him. Right? Don't try and be a nice guy where you go out of your way, try to be extra special, kind to someone who A, didn't ask for it, and B, in the hopes they'll date you with strings attached. You're creating your own misery and resentment. You're lying to the other person and probably yourself. Yeah, you're definitely lying to yourself. It's not even about lying to the other person. She doesn't care. She's already friend-zoned you, right? It's more about, your self-confidence and how you see yourself and feel deep within yourself. And you're very likely making someone else very uncomfortable. Yeah, true. True. The woman's trying to give you a hint that she's not interested in you romantically, yet you're trying to push it by saying, hey, we can be friends. Come on. That's bullshit. If you're genuinely happy being friends after rejection, then be actual friends like an adult. I agree. Big round of applause for that. Yeah, look, if you genuinely have no romantic interest in the woman and you want to be friends, nothing wrong with that. But that's not, that's not the point in most cases. All right. Let's see here. Well said. I agree. The original poster replies and says, this is it. Thank you for getting the point. MF just want to argue. LOL. Huh. Okay. I don't know what you meant by MF. I only know one acronym of MF. It's a mofo. And I don't know if you meant that, but oh well, let's move on. I disagree with your assumption that the women know and are intentionally abusing this kind of relationship. The women know right away whether the attraction is there or not. And they really don't even want to friend zone you, but they do it as a polite way of rejecting you. They'll say, I'm not really ready for anything right now, but we can be friends and, see what happens down the road. That's the way they'll approach it. Translation, that means I'm not attracted to you and I will never see you in that way. Okay? They do that because most men can't handle the truth. And, they don't want to deal with the repercussion of the man going crazy on them. So they let you down subtly, right? I'd say most women don't want this. It is painful and socially tricky or impossible to navigate or address without hurting the person's feelings. That's what they're worried about, because a lot of men nowadays lose their emotional shit and women fear their lives or bodily harm or something. So instead of saying, I'm just not interested, dude, sorry, buzz off, right? And it's not normal feminine nature to be that rude. They do it in a roundabout way. They use the friend zone BS, and it's BS. Shit or get off the pot. Ask them out politely and respect their answer or move on. Right. Big round of applause. Yes, absolutely. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm a woman, and if someone is only being my friend in the hopes of dating me later, I'm gonna be pissed. Yes, ma'am. I'm even gonna give you a big, huge round of applause. I could not have said it better myself. Could not have said it any better myself. Wow. Let's see here. Original poster made a blank posting. Okay. Yeah, if this comment was your point, you need to learn how to communicate yourself better. Your post, I don't know, kind of comes off as minor neckbeard energy to me. No, his post was fantastic. You don't know what you're talking about. Women can be valuable friends to have. We're just not fuckable objects. This is an angry and bitter feminist woman right here. Bottom line. This is the type of woman right here that you just ignore. Let's ignore her and move on, because that's not helpful. That's not a nice thing. That's an angry and bitter woman that's tried to date the Chads, and the Chads used her for sex. And instead of lowering her standards to find a guy a little less attractive, that's still attractive, that would give her what she wants, she keeps Chad chasing. This is a Chad chaser right here. Okay? Yeah, it's fine to say don't be friends if you don't want to. But it's not women's fault if they treat someone who's pretending to be their friend as a friend, and the whole thing about she gets your time, attention, validation, energy, etc., and you get nothing. He's getting a friend. If he doesn't want that, it is on him. That's not what he really wants, and that's not what she really wants. She's just trying to let him down easy so he doesn't, or she doesn't hurt his feelings, or he retaliates and, does something crazy. Women are just trying to protect themselves and do it in the most polite way possible. Most men, once they figure this out, sometime in their 20s, they understand it and they just move on after they get rejected and go and try to get with someone that will give them the chance, right? I was trying to put this into words, but I think you got it. Neck beard energy. I've had a couple of really good friends that I was interested in dating at one point or another, and when I asked and got turned down, we remained friends. Why? Because we started as friends, and that was always the most important part for me regardless. Well, if you're truly okay with being friends, you were friends initially, and you tried to ask them out, and they said, no, and then you still genuinely want to be friends, not a problem. But typically it doesn't work out that way. But in this case, I can tell you're being genuine. It's at least coming off that way. Now, if there was some chick I was interested in but didn't really know and she shoots me down, yeah, I'm probably not going to stick around if there wasn't anything there to begin with. But even that's up for debate if the person is interesting enough. Well, it's up to you who you want to be friends with. But most guys don't want to really truly be friends with someone they have a romantic interest in, even if they get turned down after they ask them out. If you're actually friends, that's cool. If you're just acting like a friend to get a chance to maybe date, fuck, well, 1, that's not a good strategy. 2, also kind of a scummy one. And in my opinion, 3, that's absolutely pathetic and unmanly and just very feminine energy right there. Okay? But they're not looking to just be friends. They want to be exclusive. Hello. Original poster writes back and says, you guys are moving the goalposts. I said nothing about being women's fault. Yeah, Red Ranger, your posting was great. I don't even know why it was removed. I'm glad I took a screenshot of it, right? He says, I'm pointing the finger at men for putting themselves in the position to be used. Right, he's just raising awareness, right? This has been talked about by many people, including myself, many other YouTubers that do similar content, many people out here on Reddit, Twitter, etc. This was a great posting, and many of you have taken it way out of context, especially that woman that was just angry and bitter for no reason, where I read her comment here a few minutes ago. In that circumstance, guys will overcompensate trying to gain ground with a girl. And it won't happen because attraction is either there from the very beginning or will never be there. Attraction is a must and not a choice. That's what guys need to learn to understand. He gains nothing because it is not a friend to begin with. Whatever attention he gets from the girl is not the type of attention he really wants. Well, he wants the promised land, and he's not going to get it. He wants to make out with her, right? He wants to snuggle with her. He wants to go on romantic weekend getaways with her, right? That's what he wants. It is based on a lie. I'm speaking to a specific point, and I'm holding men accountable for their lack of spine in this case. I'm not saying men can't be friends with women or that women are objects. I said exactly what I meant to say. Yeah, and that woman that was angry and bitter, a few minutes ago, regarding the comment I read, she's just upset because she's probably friend zoned a lot of guys, and she probably likes having a lot of guys in her friend zone. This guy was just speaking the truth, and it just hit a hot button because she was called out on the truth. That's the bottom line. The truth hurts, right? Dude here, when I am interested in a woman, I let her know quickly and clearly. When there is mutual interest, it is on. When there isn't, I move on just as quickly. Big round of applause! Yes! You go for it, you ask, you get rejected, you move on, no harm, no foul. And then you have your dignity and pride, you save your energy and focus it on someone else that will more than likely give you a chance or will actually give you a chance. Bottom line. Excellent. Let's read the rest of this, then we're going to get to the next posting here. I don't spend time dwelling in a passive-aggressive pattern, holding out hope for something that won't happen. That doesn't help either party. If both the woman and I decide we want a friendship, a real friendship without other expectations, that is cool too, so long as terms are clear. Again, if you're a guy and you're truly okay with being friends with a woman, not a problem. But most guys are not. They're just trying to use it as a loophole to try to get her promised land. That's just not going to happen. Bro, thank you, says the original poster. Yeah, that was well said, the previous person there. One more here. Oh, I'm going to read two more. Okay. Yes, yes, and yes. Some women will give men hope so they can stick around longer and use them. That is true. That's why women have a friend zone. It's like a resource environment of men, right? And if those men feel they have a chance to get with her, they may end up giving her resources. And that's what you guys have to be careful of, right? Some guys take that hopes as if someday will turn into something. Just know, don't try to be friends with a girl you have romantic feelings for her. It should be romantic feelings for her. Get rid of the S there. Typo. All right. One more here. To be clear, women who say they don't know a man well enough when he makes it crystal clear he has an interest in a romantic sexual situation or have the same level of interest at that time and asks her to pursue one, that is fine. She feels how she feels. Her feelings and level of comfort are not necessarily intended to give false hope or to deceive. The woman might not be in the same frame of mind towards the man at that time. This is a legit way to respond. Big round of applause! Could not have said it better myself. In essence, when a woman doesn't feel it for a guy, okay, and she can tell that rejecting him, the normal way by saying, I'm just not interested in something romantic with you. I'm sorry. I just don't feel that way. Okay. When she realizes that a guy like that is going to overreact, and not be able to handle it, she has to let him know in a subtle, more roundabout way to protect herself. Also, most women don't want to be mean. They don't want to hurt you. They want to let you know in the most polite way possible. And you guys just need to learn how to decipher that and take the hint. Bottom line. The key is to know yourself well enough to move on immediately if that is not your bag. Right. If it's not meant to be, if you can sense there's nothing happening there, then just move on. There are so many other fish in the sea. Why focus on one? Do not put those expectations on another person or wait around with loaded motives. Again, that does neither the man nor the woman any favors. Being passive-aggressive in any situation is toxic. I cannot stand passive-aggressive people. If you're going to be aggressive with me, just be aggressive. But don't try to be aggressive in a passive way where you're trying to cover up the fact that you're being aggressive, because us smart people know you're being aggressive in a passive way. Okay? If you can offer true friendship then or at another time, great. But always be true to yourself and others, and you won't have these issues. Big round of applause! Okay, let's go to the next one here. This is also from the subreddit dating_advice. The original poster's title is Date Went on a Fat Shame Rant. Need help with responding. All right, let's read what she wrote. So I had a very strange dating experience, and I don't know how to respond to this person, and I really want to, so help me out here. Okay. I, 31 female, matched with this person, 35 male on Bumble, and he came down to see me. We live in different cities. Okay. I could tell he is very into me right away, and he knows a lot of things about me, the details of which I didn't necessarily share with him. My work, which other cities I work in, a little bit about my family. He found out we had common friends and asked them for my number. I found this a bit strange, but decided to overlook it. We had a normal first date. Well, this guy probably took your number, ran a background check on you, and found out everything about you. Now, nothing wrong with him running a background check, but he should keep that to himself because that can be very scary, right? Right? If he's talking with you about things that you never told him about that are true, then he looked into you through a background check, and that's a big red flag right there, right? Now, I've done the same thing, but I never tell women that I do that because that would freak them out. I only do it because I want to see if she's, in the past, I'm with a woman now, obviously, but in the past, I wanted to see, if these women, were sane enough to be around, right? Okay? Before wasting my time or putting myself in a bad situation I can't get out, right? Okay? I found this a bit strange, but decided to overlook it. We had a normal first date. Well, a lot of guys that look into you are trying to find a woman that's normal. So this dude is probably a pretty normal guy, but, he basically was saying things that he liked about you and your family that you never mentioned. So you're wondering how he found that out. Well, it was a background check with your number, man. That's what happened. Our second date became really strange. We met over dessert and he went off on a nutritional rant about how sugar is basically poison. That's a boring conversation to have. I wouldn't be talking about dessert and sugar. I would be talking about fun things that you both enjoy doing. I would be making her laugh. I would just be cool, calm, and collective and just enjoying the date. But this dude basically talked this woman out of liking him. All while I was eating a piece of cake. He then went on about how the concept of body positivity is trashed and every fat person is unhappy. This is not a conversation, guys, that you have with a woman on a first date or second date, right? If you're going to talk about this stuff, wait a couple months until you're established in a relationship with the woman, and that would be fine at that point. But this is a second date, for Christ's sake, right? It was horrific for me to hear. I am a fit and healthy person. I weigh 123 pounds and I'm 5'5". You're at a pretty good weight level, man. So I didn't get where this was coming from. He then told me it wasn't directed at me because he won't go on a date with someone who isn't fit. Well, most guys will not go out with a woman that isn't reasonably fit and in a reasonable good shape, right? But you don't tell the woman that on a date, especially if she's a woman that's fit, attractive, and decent, right? This dude is basically talking this woman out of liking him. This is just pathetic, right? And again, how old was this guy? 35 years old, millennial. That's why most 35-year-old men would know how to handle this. When I was 35, I'm 48 now. I would never do this on a first date. It's stupid, right? So I didn't get where he was coming from. Yeah, ma'am, I don't get it either. Well, I do. It's stupid, right? All right, I already read the other parts there. I feel very objectified and strange. Well, he wasn't objectifying you, ma'am. He was trying, he basically started feeling too comfortable with you too soon to talk with you about things that he shouldn't talk with you about until he got to know you better, right? So this guy's acting like he's been with you for like 3 to 6 months and it's a second date. So he wasn't objectifying you, but it was strange because it was too soon to have a conversation like this. It gives me very you're not like other girls type of vibe. I couldn't articulate my views fully because I'm very non-confrontational. Well, that's probably another thing, ma'am. It sounds like you're a bit conservative and this guy is not conservative. So maybe he's more liberal and maybe you're more, conservative, right? And I hate to even admit it, but, a lot of times political party differences, can affect compatibility. That's what I think is happening here. After the date, he kept texting me to make plans to meet again. I brought up the fat rant that he went on, to which he replied, I think you're doing well, but if you gain weight, that's a problem. Please don't get fat. Oh, my God. A 35-year-old man saying that? That is very obnoxious, very arrogant, and that is a mood killer, and this woman is done. If I was a woman, I'd be done. And I'm not even a woman. I'm saying, ma'am, this is a guy that you need to kick to the curb, okay? I literally do not care for his validation or his awful views, and I need help drafting a reply that isn't rude but stern. This is so outrageous, I can't believe it. Ma'am, you should just ghost him. Ghost him and never talk with him again. It's done. Edit, whoa, this blew up. Now you know how emotionally unstable this guy is. I have decided to ignore ghost him. Good for you, ma'am. Big round of applause. That's the right thing to do. I don't want to engage with this behavior and get into arguments, etc. Not worth it. I don't blame you. I don't blame you one bit. But some of the suggested responses are hilarious. Thank you. I don't think it is about his preference of dating fit women being the problem, but how he put down and spoke condescendingly about a certain section of people. Yeah, and I don't even think he was trying to be condescending, but it was a conversation that he shouldn't have had with you on a second date. That's a conversation you have after 10 or 20 dates, okay? I mean, you know, he needs to allow you to get to know who he really is before you talk about things like that, because on the second date, you're just going to assume he's a jerk and he's inconsiderate and condescending. That's exactly how you felt. That's unnecessary. He could have just kept it to his preferences. Sorry. I don't think life is as black and white as being fat, skinny. I agree. You're right. I have had body issues in the past. I was bulimic for a very long time. I've not eaten for days altogether and went about my life with body aches and dizziness, and that's another reason why it triggered me, I think. Well, ma'am, you're letting some past trauma get to you, which you shouldn't, right? But even without your past trauma, you did the right thing. This guy he's just very, very immature and insecure, and he is condescending, and he's very arrogant, right? He's very, very arrogant, right? You know, if he was a little more cocky, playful, funny, you know, and had some fun with you in a loving and dominant and playful way, it would have been different. But this guy is just arrogant. This guy is very arrogant, okay? It's been a year since I've recovered and not judged my body for its size, but to strive to be healthy. It's super judgy. Man gaining, losing weight isn't just about fitness. There are so many other factors in life that influence it. Right. This guy, you know, he's got unresolved issues stemming back to his childhood or past relationships, or maybe he was overweight in his past, and maybe he feels entitled to, you know, what he's saying. And that's just not a good thing. About the stalking, I asked him why he went to the lengths to do all this digging, to which he said he's just curious. I think he wanted me to feel impressed by how much he's pursuing me. It is only in my therapy session that I realized this is stalkerish behavior. Geez. Well, ma'am, it is not stalkerish behavior to do a background check on someone to ensure that they're a safe person to go on a date with, okay? There's nothing wrong with doing that. When you get someone's number, you know, in many cases, you can run it through a background check and boom, everything will show up, or most of everything, you know, depending on how comprehensive the services that you use, right? So the problem wasn't him running the background check. The problem was he was trying to use the information he found out about you to, like, impress you. But what he didn't realize is that, you know, what he did to do a background check. See, if you tell any woman that you do a background check on her, okay, it's game over. She's going to be like, why do you feel the need to do a background check on me? It's creepy. Nothing wrong with doing it, but keep it to yourself, right? And if you run the background check and you find things on there, a criminal record or something, and you don't feel comfortable meeting up with her, then you just ghost her or just tell her, you know, I've changed my mind, I'm not interested, blah, 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 right? But this dude was trying to gain value by talking with her regarding things that he knows about her that she didn't even tell him. I think this dude's lost a few marbles here. About how he looks. He's not fat, but he says he hasn't been to the gym in a couple of years and that this is the unhealthiest, fattest he's been. So this guy is not even in the best shape, yet he's talking with you about other fat people, and if you get fat, I'm not going to be with you. This guy, what you just told me right here, said it all. He's a little out of shape. He's become insecure by it. He's insecure. He's immature. He's controlling. This guy has no game. I don't think this guy is a guy that's harmful or anything. He just, doesn't get it, right? He's a lost puppy. He's a lost soul. You got to let him go. Let him go. Thank you everyone for your input and help and support. I think my reaction isn't an exaggeration. No, it's not, man. You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. His attitude is terrible. It is, because he's insecure. He's immature. He's unstable, probably mentally and emotionally. I don't think he's of any harm. It's just that he was trying way too hard to lock you down and prove to you that, he's paying attention. He didn't realize that, it took him running a background check with your phone number to find out all this information that he tried to impress you with, but you never told him that. He doesn't get that does come off like creepy and stalkerish, even though it isn't. He's not stalking you. It's just creepy how he knows all that stuff about you and why he would go through such great lengths to find out those things about you, right? Let's see. His attitude is terrible, and I think it is just so random to tell your date the second time you meet them to not get fat and rant about sugar while on a dessert date, and to also tell your date everything you know about her family, and friends, and to reach out to her friends when she's never introduced you or to any of these people or told you anything about them. Yeah, this dude is, yeah. Let's read a few comments here before we get to the final posting here. We are at 1 hour and 53 minutes. Party Channel says that's pathetic. It absolutely is. Sorry, I don't think this will work as I have plans to get fat soon. Big round of applause! Wow. Wow. That's funny. Ever since I met you, I've had this urge to get astronomically fat. One more big round of applause. They're making fun. They're making fun of this guy. Yeah, this dude is absolutely pathetic. He is a lost soul, lost puppy. Lost puppy. After my horrible experience meeting you, I feel the need to comfort you. Another big round of applause! Oh, this is fantastic. I mean, look, I can understand guys at age 35 still learning a bit of the ropes, but this guy is so far gone. This is just ridiculously pathetic. It is. It's absolutely pathetic, right? I'm going to start losing weight, starting with the weight of your useless body. I got to stop hitting the applause button or I'm never going to get through this. You were one in a million and not in a good way. That is true. That is true. I shall now enjoy delicious foods while also enjoy the protective barrier they provide to your personality. Wow. No, I don't think you understand me. I mean astronomical in the literal sense. I want a fork to orbit me like a tiny metallic moon. That's some next level ritual. I'm in. Gastronomically fat. How dare you? But yes, a heavenly body, one might say. Wow. Let me see if there's anything of value to read here, or are they just making fun of this guy? I would prefer she sent a photo of herself cramming cake into her face with the tag felt cute. Might get fat later. I don't know. Yeah! Big round of applause. That was a good one. Yeah! Oh my God. Wow. Uh, Let me see. Is there anything here? Let me see. Don't tell him that he won't stop pre-stalking the next date, but he will get better at hiding it if you point it out. Better to let the next girl see the red flags earlier than later. Okay. Yeah, he's going to continue behaving this way because this guy's insecure and immature, a little bit unstable mentally and emotionally. He's arrogant, you know. He's insecure because he gained weight. That's the truth. I get wanting to research your date before meeting them. Depending on how much they put out on social media, you can see red flags pretty easily that way. But don't say that on or before the first date. Also, don't get someone's number without consent. Thought that was a no-brainer. Well, I think what happened here is this guy ran a background check with her phone number. Now, there are some people that connect through Instagram and stuff like that, and if you use your real name, then people can try to look you up and match your picture with, your name, and they can find you that way. So there's nothing wrong with researching your date before meeting them. Most of everyone does that either through Google or through a background check or something. But don't sit there and use all that information to try to gain points with your date. That's creepy and stalkerish. Even though you're technically not being a creeper or a stalker, it just comes off that way. God, oh man, this dude just doesn't get it, No, no, no. This is highlighted. Please don't say this because that will let him know that the rant was what finally did him in, and he'll hide his views from the next woman he decides to pursue, probably waiting until they're trapped to open his mouth and reveal his red flags. I would just let him wonder because he doesn't deserve the kindness of a direct response. Well, women are just going to see this guy is not in his right mind after even spending 5 or 10 minutes with him. So you don't have to worry about him trying to hide anything until he figures this out on his own and truly changes his ways. He's going to keep behaving in this way that's going to automatically turn off any woman almost instantly. On the flip side, it could force him to do some self-reflection, possibly helping him to grow as a person. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Though I agree it could also go the way you suggest. That's true. Good point there. Guys like that are usually incapable of self-reflection. No one's incapable of self-reflection. It's just up to them to figure out when the right time is to do it. Everyone is capable of anything. It just has to be at the right time when they're ready to do it. And for some people, it's going to take a lot longer than others. This guy is probably not going to figure this out until he's well in his 40s. That's my guess. He's 35 now. It's going to be well into his 40s before he figures it out. More likely, original poster doesn't have the bandwidth, nor should she, to spend the time to educate him on the matter. Yeah, no, this guy does not have the bandwidth. In essence, there's something mentally and emotionally unstable about him, or he has unresolved issues with his childhood or a past relationship or marriage or whatever. And until he resolves that and owns up to it, it's never going to change. Honestly, this type of self-reflection is possible, but it needs to come from original poster's mom, sister / friends, not someone he went on a date with who is rejecting him. No, he has to figure this out on his own. No one can tell you to turn things around besides yourself. You have to just sit there and realize, why aren't things working out for me? And figure out what it is and then turn it around on your own. I can't even help someone like that until they're open to the help. And this guy's not open to the help. He's not. All right, we are at 1 hour. We're at 2 hours exactly. Let's go to the last posting and save the best for last. Please get your questions, comments, and concerns in the chat. We're going to be going off the air in about 10 to 15 minutes or so. This is pretty short. Pretty short. This is from the subreddit Dating Over 30. And the original poster states in their title, is there any point for me to date if sex is expected so early on? One more time. Is there any point for me to date if sex is expected so early on? And this is a woman writing this. I am 31 female, Sorry, I, 31 female, am technically still a virgin. What do you mean by technically still a virgin, man? You're either a virgin or you're not. So you're a virgin. Okay. I mean, at 31, that's pretty old to be a virgin. But hey, it's your choice. I have been casually seeing someone, but we haven't had sex due to various reasons. Well, man, you're a virgin, right? And if you're still a virgin at 31, you're going to probably put guys to the ringer to have sex with you, even if it feels right. Because you want to make sure that the first person you give it up to is going to be the one you spend the rest of your life with or is really special, right? It's not the way it works nowadays, but hey, it's your choice how to live your life. I went on a date with a guy last night, and he asked if I wanted to go to a hotel. That's a little too soon. You don't do that on the first date. You don't do that on the first date. Okay? On the first date, you meet somewhere in public, and you just have a nice conversation to see if the chemistry is there, maybe a little making out and stuff. Now, sometimes that can lead to the woman saying, I'm really into you. You want to come back to my place, or you go back to your place, right? But typically, if that goes well, either the second or third date, that's when you get the room or you do something more special. And then you have that amazing night of intimacy, and then it just goes from there where it's meant to go, right? I find it so hard to go there with someone. You shouldn't have to, not on a first date like that. I mean, like you meet a guy and he said, let's go to a hotel. Like I wouldn't even do that if I was, single and talking with a woman for an hour and everything was going great. I wouldn't do that. I would just maybe try to make out with her in the car or wherever we're at and get a good feeling of how attracted she is to me, like I am to her. And if that's all good, and I know she's into me, then I'll say, you know what? Let's do something really, let's stop this now before we go too far. You as the guy can come out and tell the woman when she's into you, right? She's feeling it and maybe she wants to go further. You say, look, let's stop this right now before we go too far because I really like you and I want to do this the right way. How about, we call it a night and then next time we're both free, where we have a day off or so, maybe we go, and do something special. Maybe we go and get out of town for a day or two, go hiking and get a nice hotel suite and make this special because I don't want to rush this here tonight. I'm enjoying that, right? If you flip it around and the woman's into you, she's going to be like, wow, this dude could have me right now, but he's turning me down because he wants to do it right and make it more special. If she's really into you, she's going to be looking forward to that next time. That's what happened with the lady I'm currently with. And here we are. We're still together almost 6 months later, right? My anxiety gets the better of me. I just don't think I'll be able to find a guy who would be willing to wait a bit until I feel safe and ready. So is there any point, really? Well, yes, there is, ma'am. The thing is, are you ready to give up your virginity for the right guy when it's meant to be? Because typically, it's going to either happen by the second or third date at the latest. Sometimes the first date, but for you, probably not. Use the first date to gauge and see where the guy's at, see how patient he is, see if he's willing to wait at least one time. But I'll tell you this right now, ma'am, virgin or not, typically, if you're not intimate with a guy by the third date, it's not meant to be, and most guys will just assume that and just go off to the next. So, yes, there is a point. You just have to learn to understand how the modern dating world is, and if you want something with a good guy, intimacy is going to be something that needs to happen by the third date at the latest, or it's just not meant to be. And you can't use your virginity as a carrot you dangle. Okay, I don't want to go on another date where the guy expects sex so soon, ma'am. It's not that all guys expect sex. It's the fact that if it doesn't happen by the third date, there's no chemistry there. Right? If there is a large rush or spark of sexual attraction, it's going to be felt almost instantaneously within 3 seconds when you first lay eyes on each other. It doesn't mean you act on it at that moment, but it needs to be acted on by the second or third date, or it's just not going to go anywhere, or it's not meant to be. So you just haven't found the right guy yet. When the right guy comes around, trust me, you're going to be ready, willing, and able. As long as you're not dangling your virginity like a carrot. Bottom line. All right. Let me read a few comments here before we go off the air. Please get your questions, comments, and concerns in the chat. We'll be going off the air in about 5 to 10 minutes. I would be more upfront about your expectations around sex. Not like on the first date up front, but if it gets to a point where you can use the phrase seeing someone, you should be able to have a conversation about your timeline for sex. It needs to happen by the third date or it's just not meant to be. Bottom line. There's a gray area between never dating again and having sex completely on the other person's schedule. That gray area is clear communication. Good luck. Okay. Definitely this. Original poster. Lean into clear and candid communication about what's going on for you. It is black and white and rigid thinking to lead to might as well not date. Well, I mean, it sounds like to me that she's dangling her virginity on a carrot, right? And she's just scared about giving it up to the wrong guy. And if she continues being scared about it, she'll never be with anyone because she'll never give it up to anyone because she'll think nobody's worthy. That's the problem. I think this is more in her head than anything else, you know? In my experience, plenty of guys are happy to wait until you're ready. Just tell them up front and filter out the guys who just want a hookup. That's why you can wait a date, and it needs to happen by the second or third date. The first date, yeah, typically it's a bit too soon, but in some cases it has happened for me in the past, and it turned into a great relationship. It just depends on the situation, but in most cases, it needs to happen by the second or third date, or it's just not going to go anywhere for the both of you. It just wasn't meant to be. I mentioned something about being hesitant to the guy I'm with now, and he said that we could wait until I was comfortable. He said this over and over. He was 46 at the time. We didn't wait long, but it made me feel very comfortable and made me respect him more, and now he's my fiancé. Well, I got to give this 46-year-old guy a big round of applause! And here's exactly what this 46-year-old guy was conveying. Guys, try to understand this. If a woman is into you, you're going to know. She's going to look at you with glistening eyes. She's going to rub your shoulders. You're going to know, right? Doesn't mean she's going to sleep with you right away. Maybe she wants to sleep with you, but she wants to see if you're really into her before she gives it up, right? So this dude really liked this woman, right? And he wanted her to know that, hey, look, I think you're, in his head, he's like, she's hot, man. I want to bang her right now. I really like her. I want her more than just sex, but I like her personality and she's hot and I just want to be close to her, right? But what did he do? Did the same thing I did on the first date with the lady I'm with right now, right? She wanted me. She even wanted me, and I told her, let's wait and do it more special the second date. And more respect came that way, right? So this woman wasn't feeling totally comfortable. He goes, you know what? I really like you. I think you're an amazing woman. And hey, we'll wait till you're comfortable. No problem. I'd love to see you again. Maybe we can do something more fun the next time, go on a hike or do this and that, right? Yeah, no problem, right? So now this dude is showing this woman respect and with her boundaries. And she's beginning to feel more and more comfortable, like she can trust his masculine core, and she's feeling safe, right? He's not being pushy. And because of that, now she wants him more. Now the next time they see each other, she's going to be more closer to him, right? That next date, if I was the guy, I wouldn't, try to kiss her or anything. I'd wait to see how she reacts based on what he said the last time. Hey, you know what? We can wait until you're comfortable, right? So then she comes on to him, and then all he has to do is just allow her to come in, start kissing her, and then she starts getting more and more turned on, feeling more comfortable. And then if I was in that situation, even if she wanted this guy, he could just say, hey, unless you want this to go somewhere, we should stop. I don't want this to effect. I really like what we have, right? And at that point, the woman's into you. You saying that's going to turn her on more. And she's going to say, you know what? I just want you. I feel comfortable with you. You're respectful. I want you. Blah, blah, blah. That's all it takes. If you guys have just a little bit of patience and just display it and speak of it, this is what happens. Like you said, we didn't wait long, but it made me feel very comfortable and made me respect him more. Now he's my fiancé. Beautiful. Beautiful. I think the problem she is having, it is also, you don't write properly. I think the problem she is having, it is also will filter out. It also will filter out, is what I'm trying to say. Many men who want a relationship that includes sex. Men wanting sex doesn't mean they only want to hook up. That's true. I'm one of those guys, right? A woman like this, her being a virgin at 31 would be a red flag, because it would be telling me that she hasn't had sex with anyone because she has a structured belief system, and she's going to make the guy wait till marriage or wait like 10 or 20 dates. And that just wouldn't work for me. And no guy should have to wait that long, right? Okay. There are many other women and guys that will just take chances and go for it, and it turns into something great, right? I do believe as people get older, their willingness to wait dwindles. Yeah, especially for those who have been sexually active. Are there people willing to wait? Yes. Are there far less of them at 30 than 20? Absolutely. As you get older, you've had experience, and you don't want to sit around and wait 10 dates to sleep with somebody, and then the sex is shit, and you break up anyways. You should find out as soon as possible if you're compatible in every way, and that includes sexually. Let's read a couple more here before we wrap it up for the night. Get your questions, comments, and concerns in the chat. We're going to go off the air in less than 5 minutes. It's been the opposite for me. Men in their 30s were way more willing to wait for sex than those in their 20s, early 30s. Well, yes, but you're missing the point there, right? What the other person was saying is that people that have already been sexually active and have gotten older are not afraid to be intimate with someone, right? But as you get older also, men and women, especially men that really like someone, are willing to be patient to a certain extent, right? Like typically you're going to find out on the first date if there's chemistry with a woman. She's going to show you, you're going to show her some kissing, hugging, whatever, right? And if that's there, right, okay, and it gets hot and heavy, right, at that point, the woman might say, you need to slow it down, or you could say, hey, look, you know what, we should slow this down. I really like you. I don't want this to go too far tonight. I think, we should plan something special if you're open to it. If you're enjoying my company, I'm definitely enjoying yours. Why don't we end the date now and plan something special for the next date? And maybe go away for the night somewhere special, and we can talk more about it by phone. And then you abruptly end the date purposefully in the middle of her being turned on, and that's gonna keep her her anticipation level up, and she's gonna be like wondering what happened here. Like, he just cut this off, and he wants to see me again and make it more special and romantic. It's gonna turn her on more. That's all it takes. That's all it takes there. It's simple. Okay. As a man in my early 30s, I'm so much more patient now than I used to be. Yeah, and same here. Like when I was in my 20s, I didn't have the same patience with women that I have now. I'm not saying I was a pushy jerk or anything, but I just didn't have the same patience. Now, like, I'm cool, calm, and collective, right? The more patient you are, like even from the very beginning, the more cool, calm, and collective you are, you don't come off thirsty or needy. Women are going to want you more than you want them. Just trust me on that. It's the vibe that you put out there, right? You understand timing much better as an older person, I think, and it was easy for me to decide the woman I'm currently seeing was worth waiting for. You also have a lot more experience. You made mistakes, and you've learned from them, right? So you're more experienced, too, on top of what you said. She had just left a long and difficult relationship when we first got together. We talked about it on date 3 or 4, and then we decided to become exclusive and consummate the relationship about 2 months in. No regrets. That's way too long to wait. Way too long to wait to have sex. It needs to happen by the 3rd date, or it's not meant to be. Now, in your case, I guess it looks like it worked out. If you were both okay with that, to wait that long, that's fine. But even if I was single right now, as a 48-year-old man, I would not wait more than 3 dates. Right? I would not wait more than 3 dates. It's the bottom line. But hey, it worked for you. Everyone is different, but for the majority, it's a 3-date rule. You just have to work up the nerve to have the conversation and ask for what you want. No, let it happen naturally, for Christ's sake. You shouldn't even have to really plan it. It just should happen naturally. Oh, let's read a couple more. This is important here. I'm in a relationship now, and due to anxiety from previous experiences, I wanted to wait a bit for sex past 5 dates. I'm a very sensual and sexual person myself, but within a secure parameter. Well, when you try to control things, it's not as natural. So, secure parameter, come on. My partner makes me feel safe, period. Now I can't keep my hands off him. That's good. When a woman feels safe and understood and heard, the legs open. When it's the opposite, the legs close. But some men feel like if you don't want sex with them by date 3, that it means there's a lack of attraction. Ma'am, that is the truth. And most men and women are like that. Now, there are exceptions to every rule. You're one of the exceptions, right? And some other people may be the exception, like the previous poster, right? But that is true. If you don't want sex with them or don't have sex with them by the 3rd date, it means there's a lack of attraction. Yes, that is absolutely 100% true for the majority of people, 99+%. For me, it makes me more attracted if they are patient, understanding, grounded, and not impulse-driven. Well, that's probably because the guys that you're seeing, are not displaying a lot of patience. They're not, saying the right things to you. They're not bonding with you mentally and emotionally right away. Like, I'm the kind of guy that wants the emotional bond and mentally stimulating connection right away. If it's not there right away, I'm not going to even go on a second date with a woman, right? Sex or no sex, right? And once you bond with a woman mentally and emotionally, right, you start opening up emotionally and making that emotional bond. That's what makes the woman feel comfortable. The guys you've probably been with, have taken a while to open up themselves emotionally to bond with you at that level so you can feel safe enough to want to be with them sexually. So, but yeah, for most people, it's by date 3. There is an exception to every rule, though. And you're one of the exceptional people, you're one of the exceptions to the rule. For me, it makes me more attracted if they're patient, understanding, grounded, and not impulse-driven. Okay, last one here, and then we're going off the air. I think what the commenter meant that there are a lot more people who would wait for a very long time for sex in their 20s than their 30s. That's definitely not true. I think it's the other way around. I believe they are right if we're talking about waiting years or waiting for marriage level waiting, but you are right if we're talking 5 to 10 dates level waiting. That's too long. 3 dates. Why are you going to take a woman out on 10 dates before you have sex and spend money and make all this effort when you're unsure if you're going to bond sexually, which is an important part of the overall connection? It's not everything. It's one part that needs to be there along with the mental, emotional, and spiritual. You guys are just wasting too much time. Obviously, demographically, the wait for marriage people are either married at this point or they've been there, done that, and aren't going to wait years for sex the second time around, especially if we're talking about men. The will have sex during courtship crowd has mostly learned the value of the build-up before sex, generally has more patience for waiting due to partner's need for time for whatever reason by the time they hit their 30s. This is just too much jibber-jabber here. This is just ridiculous. This is just not, these are just people that are just having some kind of structured belief system. This is not how most people are. It's not normal. Not in this modern world, at least. From what I have observed, there are much less people who are willing to wait for marriage. Sorry. I think I read that already. Of course, there are exceptions, born-again Christians, your brother's friends, aunt who did something different, but I believe these to be the general trends. Yeah, I encountered like 5 born-again Christians or reborn virgins before I met the woman I'm with right now. And, it's like when you go invest time into 1 or 2 of them and you talk with them on the phone for a couple hours, and then you try to bring up a romantic weekend getaway, and they're like, well, I wouldn't be able to go away with you until after marriage. And at that point, they're not having sex before marriage. And they don't put that in their profiles, and, they don't mention anything regarding that, which they should, because then you wouldn't have wasted any time on them, right? And I got good at basically anytime a woman back in those days when I was single would have a profile that would say Christian or would mention God in any way, shape, or form, it automatically red flagged me to assume they may be one of those reborn virgins or reborn Christians. There's no such thing. You're either a virgin or you're not. If you've had kids, been married, and you're saying you're a reborn virgin, that's just a bunch of crap, right? Okay? Ask those women. I need to ask you something. I'm not trying to be rude, but based on your profile, you mentioned God and some other things. And, I'm a God-loving man, but, I've talked to other women like this in the past, and they were reborn virgins or reborn Christians. Are you one of those women that is waiting for marriage to consummate their relationship, right? Say it respectfully. And they're either going to tell you yes, and then you go your own way, or, it's going to upset them and they're going to ghost you, and then you have your answer anyway, right? Or they might say, no, I'm just waiting for the right guy. I'm a God-loving person. I don't sleep with anyone, but, I'm just waiting for the right guy. And when it's meant to be, it's meant to be, right? But you guys gotta learn to read profiles better. And, you guys really need to talk with women on the phone before you meet them in person through dating apps, because you'll get a good vibe if they're sexually open or they're not. And if they're not, then obviously, I would move on. Unless you're okay waiting for marriage, which is rare, but still even possible for men. All right. Time to wrap this baby up. Let's go back to full screen. We are at 2 hours and 23 minutes. I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. I may come back and do another one of these shows tomorrow, or I may just even do, a State of the Eli address or something like that. I've got a bunch of things that I've been wanting to talk about for quite some time that I haven't talked about during my live streams from my walks, my Walking with Purpose streams. I wanted to do an address professionally from the studio here where I'm at today. So I may end up doing that tomorrow, but you'll definitely at least get a Walking with Purpose stream from me tomorrow, and more than likely another in-studio stream here tomorrow night around the same time. Possibly another, relationship advice for men and women, maybe volume 13, or a State of the Eli address. Keep it locked here, and you'll find out more. With that being said, thank you everyone for being here tonight. Have yourselves a great, great night or great day if you're watching this down the road, whatever it may be, during whatever time of the day it is. And I'll see you all next time. Take care. Bye. Bye.